They left us on a cliffhanger. Seriously, let's talk about it.
I know what's on your mind. We do
Be
this
sure to hit that like button and subscribe.
I am Ravi, and I'm going to talk about Squid Game Season 2. And boy, I know I'm late, but I just finished watching it, y'all. Okay, so let's start from the end. They left us on a cliffhanger. All right, they gave us 7 episodes and left us on a cliffhanger. Like, what the hell? I first started watching this season of Squid Games when it first came out. Um, and I was watching the first episode and I was bored to death. I mean, the backstory of the new characters, yada yada yada. Yeah, it was fine. It was good. But it was dragging. So much so that I don't think I even finished the first episode. I paused it, walked away, and didn't even come back. Okay. Then I like a couple of days later I went back and like, okay, let me watch this. So I went back, finished episode 1, went right into episode 2. Something happened. I hit pause. Did not go back to episode 2. Then my friend La Rocka Blue, you'll see her on some of these episodes. She was like, "Hey, did you watch Squid Game?" I was like, "You know what? I started watching it and I didn't finish. Okay, I was bored out of my mind. I don't think I'm going to make it through this season." And she was like, "Ravi, it's good. You gotta watch it." So I'm like, "Fine." It still took me 2 more weeks. Okay, so I finally sat down and watched the rest of episode 2. And so as I'm getting there and I'm watching it, and I'm like, oh, now it's getting good. And y'all know the part I'm talking about. Okay? Right there at the end. I should have known from that episode that they was gonna be messing with us the rest of the season. Okay? So if you haven't seen it yet, okay, so I'm talking about near the end where, you know, they are showing us he gets into the limo, everything gets all foggy, and smoky because he decides to go back into the games and they're transporting him and everyone else who got the invitation, they're getting picked up. But then the one homegirl, the girl that was a bunny rabbit at the carnival. Here I am thinking she's about to be another contestant. She was looking, trying to make money for her daughter. Still don't understand her full backstory, but I'm thinking she's about to be a contestant. No. How is she one of the pink men? How is she a triangle, y'all? How is she a triangle? Okay? So, homegirl's a triangle. Number 11, right? She's triangle number 11. And I'm like, whoa, blows my mind, y'all. Just absolutely blows my mind. Okay. So I'm like, okay, I guess it is going to be good. We're going to get a different perspective, right? We got a little bit of the agents before at the end when the one police officer dude infiltrated, but now we really get to see like the perspective of the staff members of the pink people. So I'm like, oh man, this is going to be really good. Okay. So they go into episode 3 and we're starting to learn all the different characters um and then we learn the twist that they can vote each time whether or not to proceed to the next game. I'm like, oh, well, in reality, yeah, it's a no-brainer. People will probably say no, but given that it is a TV show, we know that it's probably going to be some instances in which we're gonna have a few extra games going on, right? We gotta make it. We gotta make it a season. They dropped that twist, all right, after the first game. But let's talk about that first game, all right? So 456, right? He was trying to warn everyone. Red light, green light. He tried to tell everyone, hey, this is not just a game. You will be eliminated. Eliminated means that you will be shot, y'all. Okay? So they didn't want to believe him. They thought he was crazy until those first shots rang out and people, so that one person got shot, fell down, and the one person saw it was like, ah, and then it was like all holes bars, and then right, everyone started running, and then we're like, right, and again, all right, and all right, people were just yelling, all right, yelling, and just onslaught, just slaughter, y'all, just slaughter. And then it kept going. All right. So then finally people took it seriously. All right. So then they start coming up with strategy. And I'm like, man, it's going to be one slow season if they strategize every single time. Right. So then they start to strategize, but still a few people start, they still mess up and you get a. Okay. And then you got the one homeboy who was shot in the leg and he goes down. Yay, he's alive! Alright? But what did Homegirl do? Number 11. She was like, you are eliminated, and shot the dude in the head anyways, okay? So like, oh, this is gonna be really good, alright? She all about her business. Alright, let's go ahead and go. Alright, so the ones who are going to get eliminated, and they cross the line. Now everyone's like, how did you know it was going to happen? How did you know? Have you been here before? Are you a secret agent? Do you work for them? All right, the questions keep coming. All right. So then, all is good. You get the one side that, who roots for him. You got the other side who's against him. And then, comes the vote. They get to vote. Yes, let's vote. So they vote. And one by one, the numbers are ticking, and the majority of people voted to stay for another game. And everyone's like, hello? We just saw what happened out there, right? So why are we voting to stay? And they're like, 456, you're the reason. You convinced us. You're the reason that we're staying. If you made it through the games, with you here, we can make it through the games. And they just didn't understand. 456 is like, oh, Lord. Oh, Lord. All right. So, next game. Next game, they thought it was going to be, what was the game where they're licking the candy and popping it out, the shapes? Oh, Lord. That's what they thought it was going to be. So, they get to the game, and it's not that game. Yo, they switched up the games on them. So I'm like, oh, this is going to be really good, y'all. This is going to be so good because it's new to them. It's new to us. We don't know what's going to happen, right? All right. So let's do this game. All right. So for the second game, right, they had to get in teams of 3. And it's like some 6-legged race. And we're like, oh, is it 6-leg or 8-leg or it was some kind of race, but it was I think it was 4 people, right? Anyways, I'm trying to go from memory here, y'all. All right. So they have this race. All right. So they have 2 big circles, right? Y'all know, y'all were there watching, but I'm just going to rehash for those who haven't seen it yet. All right. So they have these 2 big circles. Okay. And along each step of the way, like there's different stations. There's 4 stations. Each player on the team had to do a child's game. All right. So there was one where you're spinning a top. So you have the string at the top and you're flinging a top and making sure the top spins, right? There's one where you're flinging a stone and trying to knock over another gadget. They had the one where you're still, right? The game that they all play in order to get an invitation to the game, right? And then they had the hacky sack, and then they had like the one that's like for us it looks like jacks, right? Where you bounce the ball, you pick up the jacks, and this one's like similar where you throw them up, you grab some more. So it's basically their version of jacks. All right, we're not going to go through that. All right, so everyone on the team all had to do something. All right, and I guess it was like 5 players on the team because I sound like 5 games that I just said. So again, the first group, they made it through. They had to do this. This was timed, y'all. This was timed. They had to do this in 5 minutes. So they had to complete 5 little games going around the race in within 5 minutes. So if you messed up, like especially if you're like spinning the top, or if you're throwing the stone, trying to knock the object over, you had to go as a team. Remember, their legs are tied together. Okay, so so they have to walk as a team. They have to walk as a unit, and so people are falling down. They're tripping over each other. All right, so a simple task of going to pick up a stone to rethrow it again became extra. It was so extra, y'all. So needless to say, the first couple of groups did not make it. Right? The onlookers, that are waiting to have their turn. They're looking at what people did right and what people did wrong. But y'all, it was a bloodbath. But finally, some groups finally come in. Okay? Now, let's talk about 001. All right? 001. If y'all have not watched it, player 001. We had our suspicions. We knew, right? We had our suspicions, right? And 456 had his suspicions too. But every so often, player 001, he did something that made our suspicions go, oh, wait, maybe he's not that bad, right? Wrong. Okay? So, all right, so 456, 001, and a few others, some of the main characters for the season, right? It was their turn. It was just them and another team. They're the last people left. All right? So they went through the spinny top, no problem. They did the stone, no problem. And I'm probably going out of order, but y'all know what I mean. The first two, no problem. The third one, no problem. Then they get to the fourth one. They had some issues. All right? But they finally made it. Okay? Then they get to the last one. The last one was the hacky sack. Okay? And there's only a couple seconds left. And so 456 was the one responsible for doing the hacky sack. And so he got it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, the last one almost, went so far out. And then 001 stuck their joint leg out and 456's foot hits it, right? Whew, saved by the bell. And they complete the mission and they cross the line in just the nick of time. Okay? So that was that second game, y'all. So now people are all up in the bunks like, what? More people came back? That's just more money being taken away from us. So now people are getting freaking greedy, y'all. Getting greedy. I don't even know what episode we're in now. I'm just telling y'all the story because, y'all, my reaction to a lot of these, like, this is crazy. Okay? This is crazy. So they do another vote. And again, now it's like landslide. They're like, oh no, we need to get to this amount of money. And once we get to this amount of money, we can end the games. So the next vote is a freaking landslide. So like, a lot of the people who voted no switched over to yes, let's say for another one. And it was crazy. It was just outrageous, y'all. Okay? So what happens next? What happens next, y'all? Is that they play this other game. Okay? And let's talk about this other game. Okay, so the next game was like the merry-go-round game or something. I don't know what it's called, y'all. All right. But on this one, they were on this rotating platform where this child song was playing. All right. And then as the song goes on, there's all this anticipation. The object of this game was when the music stopped, the bosses will call out a number and they had to form groups of that number. All right. So inevitably, anyone without a group was going to be left out. But not only did they have to form a group, the room was surrounded by doors. So these itty bitty rooms. And so you had to form your group and go into a room and close the door behind you. Okay? So if you were locked out, you were eliminated. Okay? So the music keeps playing and round after round, people are getting their groups, and they make it dramatic, right? And people are going in the rooms and all kinds of stuff. And then people who don't make it, they are eliminated. Okay, so then we get down to last few rounds, and people are getting desperate. Desperate people, they were doing all kinds of. They were yanking people out of rooms. They were, pushing people out of rooms. They were doing all kinds of things to make sure that them and their team were in the room. But then, 001, there's the round where only 2 people could be in a room, and so he went into a room, and his partner went into a room, but there's already one person in there. And, the dude was like, hey, this is my room. I was here first. And 00. Okay, I know you see the scene change. My computer went down. It was acting up, so I went and took a nap. Now, back to the recap. So I think where I left off was where we were talking about the merry-go-round game, right? 001, which, we've been suspicious of him for a while anyways. 001, he gets into his room with his partner. His partner is 456's friend from the outside. Okay. Now, they go into the room, and there's already a guy there. And he's like, this is my room. This is my room. Okay, when do you guys have to go? I was here first. And 001 was like, I don't think so. So what does he do? He calmly walks around behind him and puts him in a sleeper hold. Not only does he put him in a sleeper hold, he breaks his neck. Okay, so the 456's friend from the outside was like, "Oh shit." Okay, so game finally ends. You know, the crew who needs to get together, everyone's met back up. We lost a few people, but it's all good. Okay, so this was supposed to be the final game. Everyone had already promised that if they made it through this game, they were going to vote to leave before the next game. So they hold the vote. Okay? They hold the vote. And would you believe it? It is 50-50, y'all. It is a dead tie. Okay? It is a tie. So now, in terms of a tie, they have to go and redo the vote. But they don't redo the vote immediately. The vote's going to be held the next morning. Okay? Not good. Not good. Okay? So everyone starts to settle down. You have the people who wants to go on this side. You have the people who don't want to go on this side. All right? And they're both making their plans about what they're going to do. Well, the people who want to stay, they're making their plan to attack. They figured if they can get rid of some of the people that want to go, that the numbers will be in their favor. Okay? Now over here, 456 and his crew is like, yeah, they're going to attack us tonight. And his people are like, what do you mean they're going to attack us tonight? The cards would never let that happen. Yes, they would. Okay, that's part of the game. Okay? And we know the guards know this is going to happen because the big head voice in charge is telling the pink people to get ready for a special game because they know stuff is about to go down. Okay, things are about to go down. So they're getting ready for that special game because they know all chaos is about to break loose. Meanwhile, everyone in the bunks are about to get ready for bed. Okay, they're about to get ready for nighttime. So they're having their bedtime countdown, and then the pinks are having their special game countdown, and then lights are off. Give it a couple seconds, and yes, the the people who want to stay sneak over and they start attacking. Boom, 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 boom. What are they doing? Yes, okay. They are attacking the people who want to leave. Okay. What they don't know though is that 456 and his crew. Okay, 456 and his crew. Yeah, well, they were smart. They also had a plan. Their plan wasn't to attack the people who want to stay. Their plan was to go after the big people, okay? So they just hid under their bunks and waited for the pinks to come in. So the pinks come in, right? The pinks come in, all right? And they get everyone settled. You get people against the wall, everyone's chilling, all right? And then they go check the bodies. But all the bodies weren't deceased, right? It was 456's people. Next thing you know, they're grabbing guns and taking out the pink people, y'all. All right, so 456 people, they start taking out the people, and next thing you know, they have taken over the bunk. They have weapons, and now they're heading to the top. All right, they're heading to the top. So what does that mean? It means that they ask people who wants to come and help them out to go and end this once and for all. And I think one person volunteered, but for the most part, people were like, "Nah, y'all go do you. We gonna stay right here in this bunk, okay?" All right, so that's what they did. So they left and they start going up the stairs, right? They start going up the stairs, right? And then a voice is like, "All players must return to their room. It is lights out," or something to that effect, right? And then the pinks come out and the pinks start getting on the stairs and they're like, so the players come back and they're like, all right, guns are going back and forth, but the players are holding their own and they're taking out the pinks left and right. Now, this is kind of unrealistic because the pinks have been trained to shoot and sniper people. So the fact that so many of the players are able to take them out leads to the beginning of the season where they talk about everyone's military experience. That's the only thing to explain why this small group of people were able to take out the pinks, but that's another story. Okay, so they're having these battles back and forth. Okay, they are they're holding their own, but the players are running out of ammunition. All right, so they send 456 and his bestie from the outside. they go and they're like, "Hey, we're gonna go and see if we can get to the office, okay?" So they go and they start heading to the office, right? Meanwhile, the rest of the players are trying to hold it down, okay? But they're still running low ammo, so they send back one of the homeboys to go and get some more weapons, all right? And dude who goes back and get the weapons has a straight breakdown. Okay, we're never going to talk about him. All right, so back to the story. Now, 456 and his bestie, they're making their way through. They're taking out pinkies left and right. Yes, they are. They're taking out pinkies left and right. And then they're running out of ammo. They get a few more from someone who on one of the pinkies that fall, but it's not much. So now that everyone's running down low ammo, they're communicating back and forth. And they're like, "Hey, guys, we need some backup here." All right, so 001, 001, okay? He's like, "Okay, I'm coming." So he grabs a couple people and he heads this way there, right? So they're following the trail of bodies of pinkies and they find 456, right? They find 456. And then they're like, "Oh, hey, buddy, what's up? What's up, buddy?" Okay, so, hey, 456 says, "Okay, 001, I need you to go and find a way around these guys. They have us pinned down. We can't get past them, but the office is right there. See if you can find a route to go behind them." So that's what they do. So 001 and his two buddies, they go around the back, and we should have seen it coming. We should have seen it coming. But I think we're all holding out hope that it wasn't what we thought it was. But it was, okay? So 001, they make their way around, and they find the back entrance, and they see the two pinkies that are holding down 456 and his bestie. All right? So 001, he secures the area, get the two or three pinkies with their backs to them. Nothing's happening, okay? They're cool. So they're going to sneak up on them. So 001 sends up the two people in front of him to start securing the situation. And what does he do? He shoots them. He shoots his teammates, y'all. He shoots the other players. So, secret agent. We figured he was a secret agent, but then he kept doing things that made it so he wasn't a secret agent. So, but now we know he's a secret agent. All right? So, everyone is handled. Now, 456 and his buddy, they're out of ammo. They're in trouble. So, everyone starts to yield. Everyone starts to surrender. All right. So 456 and his buddy surrendering. The people out, the players that are out that ran out of ammo in the stairs, they're surrendering. And so the dark agent comes down, talks to 456, says a few words to him, and he's not gonna hurt 456, but he wants to teach 456 a lesson. So what does he do? He has his little pinky take out his best friend. All right, so homeboy that's been by his side, who didn't trust 001 to begin with, but kept putting his intuition aside, he's gone. He's gone, y'all. He's gone. Okay? So they go back and they show us going back to the room. And the pinkies are going in there, and the other dude is losing his mind too. All right? So then it's over. All right? 456 is sitting there, mouth ajar. His friend is gone. The gun is looking at him, and it goes off. It goes off. They left us on a cliffhanger, y'all. They left us on a cliffhanger. Why did they do something like that? All right? So only 7 episodes, and they left us on a cliffhanger. Now, I didn't even talk about the other things that are going on outside of the off the island. I mean, there's all kinds of schemes and things happening on the outside that I didn't even talk about. But y'all, if you want to hear more about that, make sure you like, subscribe, and share, and comment below that you want to hear my take on what was happening off the island, y'all. Okay? And also let me know in the comments, what do you think about this season of Squid Game? Do you think they could have finished it off, or do you think that it was good to leave us on a cliffhanger? You let me know. Until next time, toodles!